Welcome back, everyone. Kicking off another deep dive into AI in healthcare, and this week we're really drilling down into the practical AI applications, the ones quietly transforming the industry.
Yeah, it's not always about the flashy headlines. Sometimes it's the subtle shifts, the building blocks that, when you put them all together, paint a whole new picture of the future.
Exactly.
AI in healthcare, let's review where tech and medicine break through. Innovations thrive as insights arrive.
And speaking of big changes, let's talk about China's agent hospital. AI doctors and nurses are running things more and more, moving closer to being completely up and running.
And we're not talking about basic tasks here. They're claiming a 93.06% accuracy rate in diagnosing respiratory illnesses, with the ability to treat, get this, 10,000 patients in just a matter of days.
Wow, 10,000, that's mind-blowing. The potential for scaling healthcare, especially in places that need it most, is huge.
It really is. And for pharmaceutical executives listening, this has massive implications. Think about faster clinical trials, more efficient drug distribution.
Absolutely. But of course, we can't ignore the big questions. How comfortable will patients be with AI-driven healthcare?
Right. And how do our regulations need to change to keep up with this new reality? These are things every pharmaceutical executive should be thinking about.
For sure. Now, switching gears completely for a second, let's talk about political campaigns.
Oh, interesting shift. Where are we going with this?
Think about the last few elections. All that talk about AI-powered micro-targeting, those hyper-personalized messages.
Yeah, it felt like AI was everywhere you turned. Hard to forget that.
Well, guess what? That same technology is now showing up in healthcare communication. It's changing how we talk to patients.
Now that's fascinating. Imagine the potential there, improving how people stick to their medications, catching health problems early. Yeah, it could be a game changer when it comes to things like patient adherence. Imagine getting people the right information at the right time, all tailored to them.
It's personalization on a whole new level. But we have to ask, what are the ethical boundaries here? How do we make sure we're using this data responsibly?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's not just about the tech itself, it's about the principles guiding how we use it. Transparency is key. Pharmaceutical companies need to be upfront about how they're handling patient data. Privacy has to be a top priority.
Building trust is just as important as building the algorithms themselves. And on that note of trust, let's talk about something else that might surprise some people. Adobe Firefly. Remember that AI video tool? I thought it was just a social media thing at first.
But it's gone way beyond that. They've integrated it into Premiere Pro now, and that's a big deal for healthcare. A lot of professionals in the medical field use Premiere Pro.
So we're not just talking about funny videos anymore. It could be used for serious things like medical training videos.
Exactly. Imagine the potential. Engaging training materials, realistic simulations, and you could even personalize patient education videos that could completely change how we train doctors and how we educate patients.
It's a game changer if people embrace it. But will they? And what about making sure those AI-generated videos are medically accurate? That's a big concern.
Huge. That's where pharmaceutical companies could really step up, work directly with hospitals and medical experts to make sure the content is top-notch, clinically valid.
It makes sense. You need that link between the AI cutting edge and the doctors on the front lines. Speaking of cutting edge, let's move on to drug discovery. Google DeepMind's Tx-LLM is generating a lot of buzz. We've seen AI in this area before, but this seems different somehow.
It is, in a way. A lot of AI tools in drug discovery are focused on analyzing data to find those promising drug candidates. But Tx-LLM, it's designed to be involved in every stage of the process.
So instead of just analyzing data separately, it's like having AI woven into the entire journey, from finding those initial targets to predicting how clinical trials might go.
Exactly that. And here's the kicker. It uses both molecular and text data, which means it might find connections that traditional methods miss. That could translate to quicker drug development and lower costs.
Now you're talking the language pharmaceutical executives understand, faster and cheaper. But is it realistic to think we could ever fully hand over drug discovery to AI?
I think it's more about partnership than replacement. AI has amazing processing power. It can spot those patterns we might miss. But ultimately, it's still human experts who have to interpret the findings, use their knowledge, and make the final call.
It's a partnership, like you said. AI bringing its strengths, humans bringing theirs. Speaking of AI and its potential, the last one we'll cover today is OpenAI's Swarm. It's this idea of AI agents all working independently, but somehow collaborating, like a team.
It does sound a bit futuristic, doesn't it? Like something out of a movie. But the concept of swarm intelligence, as they're calling it really could change how we handle the massive, complex world of medical research.
So instead of one super AI trying to do everything, it's more like a network of specialized AIs,
Yeah.
all with their own strengths chipping away at the problem.
Right. Think about those huge data sets, the intricate details of clinical trials, all the logistics involved in research. Swarm could break those massive tasks into smaller pieces, letting these AI agents work together more efficiently.
More efficient research, potentially faster breakthroughs, and maybe even using resources better. That all sounds pretty appealing, especially for pharmaceutical companies.
Mm.
But with all this AI collaboration, what about transparency? In medical research, especially when you think about regulations, knowing how a decision was made is critical.
Absolutely. It's not enough for the AI to just get it right. We need to understand the how and the why. If something goes wrong, or even if it goes right, we need to trace the steps, see how that swarm reached its conclusion.
So it's about more than just building these amazing AI systems. It's about making sure they fit into a framework where we can track those decisions, ensuring accountability. Well, as we've seen today, AI is continuing to evolve, finding new ways into the world of healthcare.
It's a fast-moving landscape, that's for sure. A lot of opportunities out there, but just as many challenges to figure out.
And for pharmaceutical executives, keeping up isn't enough anymore. You have to stay ahead of the curve. This isn't a sideshow. It's the future unfolding.
Exactly. And it's not just about knowing what these developments are, but really understanding how and why they matter.
Yeah.
How can this technology help patients? How can it streamline operations? Where's the innovation here?
And how do we make sure it's all done responsibly, ethically, with everyone's best interests in mind? That's something we all need to be thinking about, not just pharmaceutical executives.
Couldn't agree more. The future of healthcare is being shaped right now, and AI is playing a bigger role every day.
On that note, we'll wrap up this week's deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and until next time, stay curious and keep asking those tough questions.
In the business of CX, where AI meets RX.